Today we will study about document object model and its elements. Now that you know about objects, let me tell you something more. The browser is an object and the document it displays is an object too. The browser itself has a long list of objects like browser window, document inside the window, navigation buttons, and more. These objects are modeled by Browser Object Model or BOM. Now here in my viewport, if I want to know the width, so I'm simply typing window dot inner width, and I am asking for window object and its inner width property. And now for opening a new tab, window dot open method is used. So as you can see, the new tab is opened. Window is the top level object in the BOM and it has a ton of properties and methods that can be used to interact with browser and what it displays. The exception is document. One of the properties in the window object which contains the current HTML document to get document object. The DOM is the model of document that forms the current web page. You can call window dot document, but since JavaScript lives inside window, so you can get the document by directly calling document. So as here document has its own objects, this is document object model or HTML. Every piece of content is wrapped in a beginning and end tag, creating an HTML element. Each of these elements is a DOM node, and the browser handles each of them the same way it would handle an object. That's why when you need to target something with a CSS rule, say all anchor tags, within the document, that is implemented to each of them individually. When you write a CSS rule targeting A, you are saying find every anchor node and apply the following style property settings to it. When a document is loaded in the browser, it is loaded into the document object in the BOM and a document object model is created. Only for this document, the browser now creates a node tree modeling the relationships between different nodes in a standard HTML object. You will have a HTML object containing two nodes, head and body. Head holds all the invisible objects like title, meta, scripts, etc. While body holds all the visible nodes. Now these nodes live in a strict hierarchical relationships depending on how they are nested in the HTML. Here, for example, a link in my menu is an A node. Inside LI node, nested inside a UL node, nested inside a nav node, nested inside a header, nested inside the body node, nested inside the HTML node, nested inside the document object, nested inside the window object. You can also see the code version of DOM if you go to Elements tab in the Developer Tools in your browser. Here you can select any node within DOM to see what styles are applied to the node. How to target elements in the DOM? Here, it's important to remember what you have just learned. The document is one giant object, and all the elements within the document are nodes inside that object. Some meta and high-level elements like body, title, URL, and more are properties of document. They can be retrieved with standard dot notation. So, document.body gives you the body, document.title gives you the title, document.url gives you the URL, and so on. To get a node or element or a group of nodes inside the body, we use methods available for document. Traditionally, the methods like getElement by ID, getElement by class name, getElement by tag name, and getElement by tag name NS have been used to do this. GetElement by ID would return the element within the specified ID. The others would return HTML collections or node lists of all elements with the same class name, tag, or namespace tag. These methods work fine, but they are often too specific, especially if you are looking for a node inside a node inside a node. More recently, two new methods have been introduced to solve pretty much all our targeting needs. Query Selector, which returns the first instance that matches the specified selectors, and Query Selector All, which returns a node list of all elements that match the specified selectors. These selectors are one or more comma-separated CSS selectors. So you target elements within the document with these methods the same way you would target them using a style rule. That makes Query Selector and its siblings both easy to work with and incredibly powerful. Let's see how these two functions work in real life. Here, I have opened a website. To get to that element, we target the class name using the document model query selector because we are looking for the first instance. So in my console, I will type document dot query selector and class name. And I will hit return. This returns the document node header with the class masthead. You will notice I am using a dot to signify class. And if I was looking for an ID, I would have used hash instead. That's because this is a CSS selector. We are just using it inside JavaScript. So what's happening here? Well, document gives us the entire document. Query Selector looks for the first instance of any item that matches our specified class name or selector. And in this case, we are looking for the class name masthead. So we get the first instance. What if we want an element that is used several times? Let's say we want all anchors in the entire document. In that case, we will call document object and use query selector all methods listing the tag name A as query selector. So document dot query selector all and specifying the anchor tag. This returns an HTML collection, that is a node tree with every single instance of the A element in the entire document. And we can sort through them using a regular array index because this is just a regular array. As you can see, each of these items is the actual item, and we can get them using and we can get all the information about them, including the properties and the actual markup. The choice between using query selector and query selector all for anything other than ID comes down to what you need in return and where your node is located. If you need the first instance of anything, you can use query selector. If you need any other instance of a thing or a grouping of things, you use query selector all. Using standard CSS selectors, we can burrow deep into the DOM tree to retrieve specific items. Now here, document dot query selector. So here are this query document.querySelector menu has children A gives us the first link inside an element with the class has children inside the element with the class menu. And second, document.querySelector all gives us any link pointing to LinkedIn inside the element with the class social nav, and so on. We can also make numerous queries simultaneously using different selectors separated by a comma, like document dot query selector all and menu lia. So this gives us all links inside list items inside either the menu or social nav elements as a query selector all methods is far more efficient and intuitive than all get element by ID or class name or tag name methods. Using CSS selectors just makes sense. As for a selector or selectors, get the matching element. It is as simple as that. There are still cases where you might want to use one of the old methods, specifically if you are working with the fonts or if you want your code to be unambiguous. But for most users, query selector and query selector all is the way to go. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you are interested to see more videos, please hit the subscribe button, and if you have something to say, please leave a comment.